Aloha, it's Kiana, and here are today's top Hawaii headlines from the editors at the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Also, mahalo to Longstrugs Hawaii for sponsoring the show. Head on over to your neighborhood Longstrugs for all your shopping needs. A new development today in the case of a Black former professional rugby player who was fatally shot by Honolulu police months after moving to Hawaii from South Africa. Autopsy results show 29-year-old Lindani Mayeni suffered from stage 3 chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Commonly known as CTE, the disease is often found in American football players and other athletes subjected to repeated head trauma. It can result in memory loss, confusion, impaired judgment, impulse control problems, aggression, and depression. The finding could help explain Mayeni's bizarre behavior before a confrontation with police in 2021. Officers were called to a Nu'uanu home about a stranger who had entered uninvited and was making odd claims. Police arrived and, after an altercation, shot Mayeni 4 times. His widow later filed a wrongful death lawsuit against HPD. Honolulu prosecuting attorney Stephen Alms said the CTE finding isn't surprising, but the new information doesn't change his conclusion that police were justified in using deadly force. The U.S. military shot down an unknown object flying off the coast of Alaska today. White House officials said President Biden gave the order to dispatch a fighter jet to bring down the craft that was flying at about 40,000 feet. White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said the object was about the size of a small car and posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flights. It was shot down near the U.S.-Canada border. It is not yet clear who owned the craft or what its purpose was, but fighter pilots determined that it was not manned. The incident marks the second time in a week that officials decided to down a flying object over the U.S. On Saturday, fighter jets fired a missile into a suspected Chinese spy balloon off the coast of South Carolina. China maintains that the craft was a civilian weather balloon. Nationwide availability of the abortion pill might be put on hold later this month. A Texas lawsuit filed by abortion opponents who helped challenge Roe v. Wade seeks to reverse the Food and Drug Administration's decades-old approval of abortion medication. A federal judge appointed by former President Donald Trump is hearing the case. If the judge sides with abortion opponents, it could halt the supply of mifepristone in all states, including where abortion remains legal. In 2000, the FDA approved mifepristone and a second drug as a safe and effective method for ending a pregnancy. The group that filed the Texas suit claims the FDA overstepped its authority by using an accelerated review process reserved for drugs to treat serious or life-threatening illnesses. The agency responded by saying that it didn't accelerate the drug's approval, which came 4 years after the manufacturer first submitted its application to market the pill. Stock indexes managed to make modest gains today as Wall Street closed out its worst week in nearly 2 months. The S&P 500 rose 0.2%, but ended the week with a drop of 1.1%, its worst since December. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 0.5%, while the Nasdaq Composite fell 0.6%. Stocks have been struggling since rallying at the start of the year on hopes that cooling inflation could get the Federal Reserve to go easy on interest rates. But traders began to worry late last week that a strong jobs market would keep inflation high and prompt the Fed to stay on track with high rates. Higher rates can drive down inflation, but they also raise the risk of a recession. Investors will get more information on inflation next week when the government gives its latest monthly updates on prices at both the wholesale and consumer levels. It looks like this week's strong winds will continue into the weekend. The National Weather Service said a strong high-pressure system to the northeast of the state will continue to produce strong trade winds across the islands. A high wind warning issued for Oahu will remain in effect through 6 this evening. Forecasters expect east winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour, with localized gusts over 60 miles per hour. The gusty weather has toppled trees and utility poles, causing power outages in Pearl City and Waimalu Thursday night, and in Kalihi and Liliha today. The separate high wind warning has been extended through 6 Saturday morning for the Kohala Mountains and the Waimea area on Hawaii Island. Heading into the weekend, a wind advisory has been extended for most of the state and is in effect until 6 Saturday morning. Winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour with localized gusts of over 50 miles per hour are expected. For more on these stories and all the latest headlines, subscribe to the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Visit Hawaii's top source for breaking news online at staradvertiser.com and download the Star-Advertiser mobile app. Mahalo, have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here next week Monday.